Welcome to the Gaming Pulpit. This is your host JD, and we got a lot of shit to talk about. As you probably are aware, the PlayStation 4 finally hit 10 million units. But before we go into actual subjects, I want to actually tell you that we're going to be doing different things here. Um, what I want to do, instead of like actually forcing my videos to be 10 minutes long, is essentially how I actually make these videos. Um, I make these particular videos and I create the actual video and it's like 10 minutes, right? And then I have to like squeeze in every fucking subject I want to squeeze in before the video is up because I'm watching the timer go down essentially. So I mean a long enough video so I can get all the little subjects and shit like that I want to talk about, and that's what I kind of want to do with this. But let's basically start right the fuck off and talk about like Sony and you know they they finally hit 10 million, or not 10 million, 100 million units. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure why anyone is fucking shocked about this. I'm not like, apparently people are really shocked about it, you know. What else would it have done? You know what I mean? But there are some little oddities that are very interesting. For instance, it is the fastest selling console to hit 100 million units. I believe it's right after the Wii, or well, the Wii is right after it. So it is kind of curious to see what the hell is in the future. There's a lot of speculation since it's the fastest to get to 100 million. Is it ever going to outpace the PlayStation 4? And to be honest with you, it's a different world. It's a totally different world. It's most likely going to cap out at 130 million units before anything else gets starts popping off. That's what I see. That's what I see. I mean, when the PlayStation did its numbers, the PlayStation actually did its numbers. PlayStation 2. When the PlayStation 2 did its numbers, it was because they were able to completely bring the console all the way down to $129. And yes, there's inflation, and yes, there's the recession and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, people nowadays they're cheap as shit. So everybody wants a fucking, everybody wants to sell, a sell basically. Everybody wants, a discount, or, they want things to be free. And honestly, I don't know how this is actually going to affect the sales of the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 is still essentially $300. Is it $250? Let me take a look here. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 300 still. Honestly, I think it is. Let me just take a look here. Let me see PlayStation 4 cost. I say cost, not cost. Let me see what it is. Oh, it's $250 right now. So it looks like the PlayStation. Wait, hold up. See, I always get these conflicting numbers. It's either the PlayStation 4 is probably, let me see, price at Walmart. Let's see. I mean, I'm seeing that it's $250. Either way, if you really want to look at this shit, it's like, okay, so it's $250, and it's definitely not going to get all the way down. With the hard drive actually keeps it from going all the way down to like 150 or 129 or whatever the case is. It's actually the hard drive that does it. So, if they were able to bring down the PlayStation 4 to, maybe $150, then I'll say that it most likely will be able to whoop the PlayStation 2's ass. But nah, I don't think so. what is curious about this is I'm sitting here rambling about this. There are some little pieces of stuff that I do want to kind of talk about regarding the sales of the PlayStation 4. So a lot of people think that Sony gets a lot of money from, PlayStation Plus. And here's the actual gaming division breakdown. So 22% is from the hardware itself. That is $900 million, right? That's what it looks like here. So let me take a look here. Physical software is actually $200,000. That's 6%. Okay. Digital software and add-ons. That is 1,970,000. 47% of this whole fucking breakdown. That's where they're getting most of their money. They're getting most of and then PlayStation Plus, I'm sorry. That's $700,610. 700, let me do that again. 761. There we go. 761,000. That's 18% of everything. So that is actually where they're making their money at, is the digital software. People are buying their games online. You got to think about it. There's no fucking box art. There's no paying the retailers. They're getting a straight fucking profit. So that's where they're getting the money from, not PlayStation Plus. But with all of that money, they didn't make that much. I believe the profit that they made is 700,000. That's the profit. 4 billion was the revenue. That's how much money they brought in. This could be R&D for the PlayStation 5, by the way, but they only made 700,000 in revenue, and it's the second best revenue and operating profit ever for PlayStation during the first quarter. So you gotta look at it that way. But I figured you guys would like to know about that. What does this mean for the PlayStation 5? It simply means that it's probably going to, start off at a good start. You know what I mean? But what is alarming to me is that apparently Sony warns about the price rise if President Trump expands the China tariffs. So, excuse me. It says here that the Sony Corporation said it would need to raise U.S. retail prices of its PlayStation consoles if Trump administration goes ahead with a higher tariff on Chinese-made video game machines, warning such a move will hurt consumers. We believe and therefore have told the U.S. government that higher tariffs would ultimately damage the U.S. economy. So apparently the U.S. and China are resuming talks this week to resolve their trade conflict. I mean, some people are worried that the PlayStation 5 won't be a powerhouse. I don't know if it will be a powerhouse. I don't even know if it needs to be a powerhouse, to be honest with you. The stuff that they said that they want to do with it, faster loading times and things of that nature, it doesn't seem like a generational leap. You know what I mean? Because even though it's loading shit faster, it's still like fucking. The games are bigger. The games are more detailed. So whatever speed advantage you have would be washed away by this shit. Essentially. So I can't really say anything about that. And then they said something about ray tracing. I don't believe that for a second that these consoles are going to do ray tracing. 4K, checkerboard 8K, faster loading, a better loading, so you have better level of detail, probably some other efficiency tricks and stuff like that. It's going to be definitely up to the developers as to what the games actually will look like. Point blank. I don't know how else to really say it. I don't know how else to really say it. That's exactly what's going to happen. You know, so if you're a really good developer, you're really good at just technology and stuff like that, then definitely you'll be able to utilize the extra power and efficiency. I wouldn't expect anything in terms of anything revolutionary. Um, that's just what it's going to be. I would like for it to be like physics and better lighting and ray traced things where the lighting can be, you know, it can make it easier for the developers to make good lighting and ambient occlusion and just, you know, global illumination and shit like that. But it's not possible. It's not going to be possible. So I wouldn't personally put too much stocks into it. Um, so I don't think that the tariffs is going to affect gaming consoles too much in terms of, you know, if they have to raise the prices. Is it, you know, would Sony just kind of skimp out, Sony or Microsoft actually, would they kind of skimp out and, you know, try to keep their consoles, you know, cheap, you know, to avoid the tariffs, you know, and just waste the power, or not waste the power, but like, you know, they cheapen out and have like basic ass consoles. I think that we're definitely going into the diminishing returns for sure. There's only so much you can kind of do in this particular medium. Yes, games can look better, but look at CGI. You know what I mean? They're getting to the point where, yeah, shit can look really realistic, but now they're worried about like, you know, specialized art. You know, stuff like, you know, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's what they're doing with their CGI. You know. And plus, they could cheat with CGI too. They don't need to ray trace with CGI. They could do this the shit that we're doing with video games nowadays. So I wouldn't look too much into that. Um, the other thing I want to talk about is I think I actually spoke about this before. You know, the CEO for Microsoft has been praising Sony, talking about, you know, it's the beginning for us. First of all, it's all driven by Sony. They looked at who all of their partners were and who they trust, and the fact it turned out that even though they competed, they are also partnered. So basically, they say, or basically and fundamentally, the fact that we have a business model in those areas and they are partnering with us, they are dependent on their success. So you want to look at this, and it looks like I talked about this in the other video. But it honestly looks like, you know, Microsoft doesn't look like they're really going to be in it for the long haul. They look like they're trying to get the fuck out the console industry, or at least they're going to put their games on everything. So the more successful PlayStation is because they can't get their Xbox to be successful, well, I mean, the more successful they are. And that kind of brings me to the last topic, which I don't want to talk too much on. I think I'm going to talk about this more in a later episode, probably the next episode. But with the Stadia coming out, I know I talked to Thrash from the Roundtable podcast. If you haven't heard of them, you know, definitely check them out. But is it really possible that Google and YouTube will pull their support from these consoles? Is it really possible? Is it even more possible that Microsoft, not Microsoft, but Sony, would actually use the Azure cloud or Azure servers and stuff like that to create their own YouTube-like setting? Not to be widespread or anything like that, but just contained in the PlayStation community. Think about it. I mean, I think it would be pretty cool to have their own YouTube thing where you don't have to worry about fucking piracy or any other bullshit like that, because YouTube is getting real fucked up right now. People are jumping ship, and that's what it is. But let me know in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video, and if you liked it, a sub will be appreciated.